your pastor is right. Like our brains can barely handle today.
Yeah.
Never mind what's coming.
Yeah. And like I said, number 4 is trusting the plan. Is if you have an idea of direction, trust the plan that it's the right way and take the action as though, even though you can't see far, you take the next step. You take the next step and just trust that it's going to work.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Embrace the Storm podcast. And we're back on a very cold Sunday afternoon. Usually we do this Friday night, but we canceled on each other. Not canceled, rescheduled. And we're back here on a Sunday afternoon, and it is bright and sunny and cold outside. Minus 32, I think, right now.
Okay, so it's warmed up a little bit.
A little
bit colder this morning.
A little bit. The sun helps.
It definitely helps. And it's bright.
Yeah, you know what? I actually miss the brightness.
There's something about having to wear sunglasses every once in a while.
Yeah, and like dry roads, bright sun, wearing sunglasses. I love it. Obviously, I don't want it to be minus 32, but I almost take that with the sunshine. Because when it's
as long as it's not prolonged.
Sure.
In short spurts, I'll take it.
But when it's like minus 8, or even that day we had a couple above or whatever, when it's gray outside for too many days in a row, it's a bummer.
Well, Wednesday? We're Sunday today, and Wednesday it's supposed to be +1.
I know, I'm so mad. I'm so mad because literally, though, think about it. So we're almost mid-January. All winter, it's been cold, warm, cold, warm, cold, warm, over and over again, and it's a mess.
But we haven't hit a really cold for a long time, though.
No.
It's been cold for 2-3 days, 4 days maybe, max, and then also we're back into this.
Yeah, and even cold for us in Manitoba. Today is cold, minus 32. But we've had it before where it's colder for longer.
It feels colder out because we have that wind coming into that. Yeah. Doesn't help the situation.
The wind never helps. Even when it's minus 12, minus 15, when it's windy, it's cold.
It's just different,
yeah. Today, we're talking about goals.
We are.
And surprise, a new year.
It'll be done.
We gotta do it. It's gotta be done. We gotta talk about goals just like everybody else. But Jeremy has a surprise for me because he says he disagrees with the way we're setting goals. And I'm putting words in his mouth because I think it's more interesting.
I didn't know that I said that, but we'll get into it.
I too, although I'm setting goals for the year, I'm also breaking them out a little bit differently, so we can talk about that today too. Right. I guess before we jump into that, so we are week 2, going into week 3 of January.
Yeah.
How have you been? How's it been going? What's been going on? And keep in mind we're on camera.
Yeah, definitely keeping that in mind. It's been good. I started a weight loss challenge a week ago. So
I forgot about that.
First weigh-in was today, or not weigh-in, doing it regularly, but first official check-in with the group was today.
And?
I'm down 3.6 pounds.
Awesome.
So, and that's doing it right, changing and exercise and the whole works, so that's really good.
How did you feel this past week? With all the change.
Biggest thing is having to drink a lot of water. Being disciplined to do it.
How many ounces are you going?
I'm going for liters. Between 5 and 6 liters.
We're pulling out the old cell phone.
Yeah.
6 liters?
5 to 6 liters a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Because my brain can't do liters.
It's not a little bit. It definitely isn't.
That is a lot.
How many ounces?
6 liters. So 6 liters is 200 ounces. Okay. Let's go 5 liters just to make myself feel a little bit better. Okay, 169. So that's still more. So I'm probably on average about 120, 125 ounce, 125 liters.
I haven't hit 6 yet, but 5.5 consistently.
No, sorry, not 100 liters of water. That's ridiculous.
Liters,
125 ounces. Yeah. So I'm probably about 3.5 ish.
Okay.
4, somewhere in there. Because I try, like all the apps that you download, at least the ones I've downloaded and tried, they're always like 100 ounces of water. And so I just know that my water bottle, which I've been using for a long time, this Yeti, is 28 ounces and then another couple with the cap. So I call it 28 ounces.
Yeah.
And so I just know roughly how many of these I drink a day. And I have it timed down.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, and I know I leave after I'm done back from the gym.
Yeah.
I'm usually about 2 liters in right off the bat, so that kind of gives me a good...
So you pound through the gym.
I do. And, and so that helps. And then the diet's been really good. It's pretty simple, straightforward.
Are you counting again?
Nope.
Good.
Measured.
Okay.
Everything's measured.
Yep.
So I meal prep now ahead of time. Usually
Yeah.
3 to 4 days ahead of time.
Yeah.
Is my meal prep, and then out my breakfast or whatever, I'll just make the day out because it's easier to do. And it'd probably be gross if I meal prep that. Just sitting doesn't really.
Unless you did like a cold bake.
I guess there's options, but
yeah,
whatever. But yeah, no, it's good. Enjoying it.
Good.
Getting progress. Getting that.
Good. With the water, have you fallen victim to, oh crap, I need to chug a liter of water right before bed?
Half a liter. Not too bad. So I had a water bottle and I'll just quickly pound this thing down, like just quickly chug, and that was good. Yeah.
Everybody I know or have been friends with that's, okay, I'm gonna take better care of myself, I'm gonna drink more water, and then they have that water goal, right? 5 liters, 100 ounces, whatever it is. And then so many of them are like, dude, by 9 o'clock when I'm going to bed or 10 o'clock when I'm going to bed, I have a full liter and a half of water I still gotta chug.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's why you try and like time it during the day. And not because you need to be regimented, but because you don't want to be that.
Because you don't want to get stuck. If you're going to hold accountable to something, you got to do it, right? Yeah, no. So that's been good.
That's good.
The workout's been really good. Everything.
Did they do the workouts for you too?
Oh, yeah. Everything.
Oh, okay, so you're changing up your workouts too.
Oh, everything. Yeah. So
gotcha.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
But
in the gym, you're a
good.
pretty intense guy. Anyways.
Yeah. So that helps.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying it. Yeah, we had our first check-in today. It was really good. Yeah.
Is it like a Zoom thing, team thing kind of deal?
Discord.
Interesting.
That's a first for me.
Yeah.
So
I know, like my geeky brother-in-laws, I love you guys if you ever listen to this. Like it's a gamer thing.
Yeah, my boys use it all the time, so I got them to teach me how to use it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, interesting.
That's about it. Yeah, so that's been going really well. How about
Cool.
yourself?
Honestly, a little bit of a rough start.
Okay.
Nothing major, but ended up absolutely destroying my right shoulder
Oh, no.
the first week because I was playing with my dog outside, slipped on the ice, and absolutely bit it.
Oh, no.
And just now it's starting to like come back to where it needs to be. And then in the middle of that, I ended up getting that cold that everybody's gotten.
Oh, no.
And it's just kicked me. And I know there's some people out there that are hardcore that are like, I'm doing it no matter what, no matter how I feel, whatever. But I'm not trying to lift weights when my shoulder's wrecked, and I'm not trying to go to the gym and drip snot everywhere. Like nobody wants to see me on the treadmill dripping snot everywhere. So
There is that, right?
I am back full-time gym sort of stuff this tomorrow, which is Monday, and we'll get back after it. But in terms of eating and stuff like that, completely have dialed that back in.
Okay.
I'm still working on getting back tracking macros.
Yeah.
That has been, interestingly, I didn't think it'd be that hard to get back into it, but for me it's just to remember to go. I'm eating mindfully, you know?
Yep.
Like this morning I had a sourdough bagel, an egg, and a couple of sausages with my coffee, right? So in my head, I knew what I was eating because I've been doing this for so long. I have an idea, right? But then I forget to log. And then it'll be 9 o'clock and I'm wrapping up my day. And then I'll just sit quickly, log everything in all at once, which is probably not the greatest because then you miss things.
And when you miss things, then you're also like, you forget things, and just and so many little things also you realize, oh, wait, that adds up a little bit more than I was expecting. And now instead of that.
I had a couple of Jolly Ranchers the one day, and this is super lame, so make fun of me if you want to. But I had a couple of Jolly Ranchers and I forgot to log those because I was doing one of those, oh crap, it's 9 o'clock, I need to log everything.
Yeah.
I woke up in the morning and I was like, oh, I didn't write those Jolly Ranchers. The fact that my brain was like, hey, blind.
Yeah.
Like, dang it.
We know you lie, but let's maybe not.
Yeah. But no, dialed that all back in.
Yeah.
My sugar intake is way down again because over Christmas it always dumps.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then cutting out the amount of drinks I'm having.
Okay.
Just, again, holiday social beers, things like that. I've just noticed my gut is so much happier when I'm not drinking beer all the time, surprisingly.
It's no.
Otherwise, pretty good. We'll talk about some stuff offline.
Yeah.
Leave these people wanting more.
Yeah.
But overall, not bad.
Yeah.
I'm missing summer.
Okay.
And not because it's cold outside. I miss the sun.
Yeah.
And I miss the sun being up early.
Yeah.
I'm in that mode now. But otherwise, yeah, man.
Yeah,
January's off to a good start. My mental game is in a really good place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
That was the one thing going out of 24 that I wanted to work on in 25 was how I think about things, how I think about myself.
Yeah.
Just working on that self-worth, working on the positive self-talk. Because, and not, again, I'm not talking about standing in the mirror, and maybe this can be segue into our topic here, but Not standing in the mirror going, I am awesome, today's a great day. Not like that. It's when you have those negative thoughts pop up through the day. Oh crap, this deal's not going to happen. Right? No, this deal hasn't happened yet. It's in the midst of happening. We're going to get it figured out. Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening. That's exactly it.
I'm going to share with you and the viewers what I've done. And I stole this from Ed Milet a little bit. Oh, I'm going to have to stand up on camera. That's super nice. Sorry, guys. Crotch shot here. So I have this little thing here. This is just, you call it a challenge coin if you want. It's just a little square piece of metal.
Okay.
Just a stupid little, I guess, fidget toy. It's not a spinner or anything. It's just, yeah, it's about the size of a toonie probably, but it's square.
Yeah.
And what I do is anytime I feel the negative self-talk coming in, is I grab this and I play with it a little bit. And that's I'm trying to rewire my brain. Hey, get this flipped around, flip this talk around. And the reason why I'm using a physical object is because on a podcast once, I heard Ed Milet talk about when he was rewiring his brain, he started using an elastic band. He would just snap it on his wrist as like his mental trigger. And so I was like, what's something I could carry with me as a mental trigger to use, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I decided to do, was this little guy here. And I don't always remember.
Right.
But it helps me, even when I don't pull it out because I forget to pull it out, remembering that I've used it before has started to help me change my talk, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, guys. I've heard of that before. I didn't know anybody used it, so that's interesting.
I'm trying it.
And how does it work so far?
So far, it's been really good. I think one of the things it's made me do is it's made me more aware.
Yeah.
Because now I think about it. Like, we go through our life on autopilot for the most part, right?
Yeah.
This is why setting goals is important too, because it helps you reflect and look to things.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about last time. And so the idea that I've got that in my pocket, even when I'm not thinking about it, it's made me more aware of the thoughts coming through my brain.
Right.
So when I do have some of those negative thoughts, I almost have this like physical stop in my body that goes, no, remember we're changing how we're thinking about this.
Yeah, we're not doing the same thing we used to do.
Exactly, yeah. And so my brain has this like, almost like gears grinding, where it just chugs to a stop.
Yeah.
And like tries to go in the opposite direction in a weird way.
Yeah.
And so it's been tough. It's been a challenge. Because what it's made me aware of is the amount of times I'm not necessarily negative to myself, but I'm not positive either. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not like going, oh, you're an idiot. But it's not on the positive. It's not in the it's happening frame.
Yeah, it's just coasting.
Yeah, exactly.
Mediocrity. Or
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now, not that I use the phrase it's happening like you have been, but that idea of, no, we're in progress.
Right.
We're in momentum. We're moving. Yeah, this particular thing sucked. Yes, it didn't work. But we're moving forward. We're going to make progress on it.
Right.
At least we're not where we used to be. Like, I'm trying to change my thinking that way. But yeah, that's one of my bigger things that I didn't actually plan on. Honestly, it's not in my goals. It's not anything. I've had so many people tell me, you being one of them, hey, watch how you're talking to yourself.
It's a big influence on on everything, right? Every aspect of.
And we talk this way in Christian circles sometimes, and I think it applies here. I knew it up here. I didn't know it here yet. I had the head knowledge, not the heart knowledge.
Yeah.
And so I think this experiment is helping me get that heart knowledge of, oh no, we don't do a good job of this. We know the things, but we don't feel the things. We don't do the things.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest things I'm working on that wasn't even on my roadmap.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
it's good.
Yeah. That was a long-winded goal. Where do we go from here? Let's talk about goals. I'm done talking for a minute.
Are you? Okay.
So talk to me about how you're thinking about goals, because you did tell me you were thinking about them differently.
I don't know if it's necessarily all that different. It's something that just challenged me is when I was looking through my goals, looking at the direction I want to go and what I was thinking about doing and whatnot.
Yeah.
This year I evaluated it a little bit differently for whatever reason against who I am.
Okay.
So
break it down.
Okay, so I enjoy what I do. That's no joke, right?
Yeah.
But I work in a very competitive field in real estate. There's always a lot of people, right? And there's a ton of agents, and everybody's fighting to be number one, right?
Yes.
All right. And every year your goal is, how can I get to number one? How can I be that guy, right?
Yeah.
And I just, for whatever reason, this year, I was like thinking about it. I was looking at it like, why do I want to do that, right? Why?
Interesting.
And why do I need to be that?
Yes.
And that was, I couldn't come up with a really good answer.
Just because you were supposed to.
Because I was supposed to.
Yeah.
And that really, it really bothered me.
Yeah.
And so then I started thinking a little bit more about my year in the past. And
did it bother you because you didn't have a good answer?
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, keep that in the back of the mind. But now let's go back and think about the last year, right?
Yeah.
And as I thought about my year, and I thought of who I am, what my goals, not necessarily what my goals were, even looking back, what my goals were for the year.
Like moving into
and thinking about, man, I didn't get very far in them, which is really like, why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I?
And I'm laughing because I felt that way too.
But like, why didn't I obtain the goals that I had?
Yep. I like this.
And it was just unsettled, right?
Yep.
And so then I started thinking of who I am as a person and who do I want to be. Like, are they lining up?
Batman.
And then I looked at my goals.
Yeah.
They take me out of who I want to be.
Oh, interesting.
They make me into somebody else, essentially, right? I have to just shift into being somebody different.
Is that someone different you want to be, though?
In some ways.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's a draw in there, right? So let's use money as an example, right?
Yeah.
So last year I set a really high goal.
Yeah.
All right. And I got about 60% of the way there.
I was gonna say, I remember you got close. Not as close as you wanted.
Honestly, I didn't think I was gonna get 50%. So I thought, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be like I was gonna get 40% of the way there, if at best, kind of thing. And so I did better than I thought I was gonna do.
Did you hit 60 because the goal was so high though?
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
I think it was just because I just work, right?
Well, you're good at what you do and you work hard.
Yeah. So it wasn't because the goal was lofty.
Yeah.
And so then I thought about, why is that my goal?
Right.
And I started thinking about it more, and I look at other people and they're like, oh, this is my goal. And then I'm like, just the conversations, nobody had a real reason as to why that was their goal. And I was like, that's interesting. Like,
yes.
They want to make money. I'm like, great. I'm all for that. I love making money. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing to want to make money.
Yeah.
But what would I do with it? What's the point of it?
Yeah.
And so.
What's the point? Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then looking at myself, then realizing, okay, so I want to make money. There's no joke.
Yeah.
Why? I don't want to have to live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to overthink, oh, can we afford these groceries?
Yeah.
I don't want to have to worry about, am I going to miss my bill payments this month, right?
Yes.
I want. Yeah. Right, but that's stuff I don't want to do, right? I don't want to make enough money to survive, to thrive, to travel, to do whatever I want to do.
Yeah. Hold on. You gave me 3 things you don't want to happen. Give me 3 things you do want to happen.
I want to be able
specific.
Okay, I want to be able to travel when I want to travel.
Okay.
So that's something that I can go, right? That means I'm taking time off work. That means I'm taking money and then putting it into there. That means that's something I want to be able to do.
Gotcha.
If I need to go buy, Isaiah's going to be coming up and getting his license soon, I'll need to get a second car. I want to be able to go buy something that's not necessarily just a beater. Nothing wrong with beaters at all.
I was going to say, maybe
I might go that direction. I might go that direction regardless, because if you drive anything like me, probably safer to go with a beater. And
we're not throwing money down the drain.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be able to afford to do that, right? I want to be able to afford to. Here's the big thing that really hit the hardest. Was I looked at my last year and I'm like, I did not have a whole lot of fun. Every single thing I did revolved around a purpose, for work, for this, for that, right? So even this, right? Like, this is fun,
yes,
but it has a purpose.
100%.
It's not. There's a responsibility. We have to edit. We have to do the work. It requires a lot of work.
How many times do we talk? No, but how many times do we talk? Man, we love the podcast, but we really should hang out. Yeah.
And so I love doing it, but it requires work. I started doing another podcast. Same thing. I love doing it, but it requires a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about, what do I do for fun? And that question I got asked, and I was like, I have nothing. I have no response to that.
I agree.
And that absolutely bothered me.
Yeah.
And so I And as
what did you do about it? Because I legitimately had the same conversation with myself.
Yeah.
Not in that direct, not exactly the same way, but I came to the conclusion when I was working on my goals for the year. I was like, I don't do anything fun.
Yeah.
Not that I don't have fun.
There's a difference, right? But I don't have any hobbies.
Yeah.
I don't have anything that's fun that I enjoy doing, right?
Yeah.
And I really looked at that. I'm like, man, like this, it sucks because we live life.
Yeah.
I'm 42 right now, and I'm like, look at my life, and I did a lot of things, but I didn't have a lot of fun things. Like even when I went on holidays, I worked.
You're 42. Yeah. You don't look 42.
Unless my versatility lies. But
yeah.
But even there, I went on holidays. I worked, and I was like, why did I work so much? Why did I do that?
Because you had deals closing.
Because it's what I did. Yeah. And I was like,
you also like to eat food and pay rent, and that in that moment, because we're friends, I know.
Right.
In that moment, those were priorities on your list that needed to get handled.
Yeah. So all these things I've been back and forth on. And I was like, man, why do I not have fun? So I've been thinking about that a lot, and I switched my goals up. Not that I'm going, throw everything caution to the wind and let's go have fun.
Yeah.
But okay, what if instead of setting my goal so high, what if I cut it back a little bit? I'll still be well above where I am now.
Yeah.
Like my goal's still pushing me to be better.
Yeah.
But it's not as crazy as it was.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be. Why did I need to make that much? I don't know.
And the way you're wired, dude, like you're never gonna go backwards.
No, but
in financially speaking, I'm just saying, because in a sales position, which you are, commission driven, the way Jerry's wired, just so everybody knows, the way Jerry's wired, whatever he did last year, he's gonna make sure he's at least $1 more than last year.
And that's just it. I thought this year was going to be a rough year. I didn't know how I was going to do. I finished out, I made a fair bit more than I did last year without even realizing. But
we were laughing
I did more in the last 3 months. I was just more, but like I did quite a bit in the last 3 months. That really pushed me to
We were laughing at Christmas time, because you were like, I don't know where these came from. But
in December, I was like number 2 the sales leader, right, for our company. So like, how good is that?
I love that you share that stuff, because obviously it puts you, in a favorable light with your audience. But also, I like cheering for you. Yeah. Because I'm like, I know how hard you work. Yeah. And so I love seeing that.
Yeah. And I sometimes forget to post those kind of things, which is weird. But this one I thought number 2, that's pretty good, right? So really I put that on there.
Especially because you had such a roller coaster every year, not just professionally, but all told. Exactly,
right? So I lessened my goal there.
Mm-hmm.
My fitness, I'm still very determined on that. That one still suits. That one still is effective. I set my goal, and then not only that, but I kept saying it's happening. I put things into place, which is why I'm doing that weight loss challenge now already.
Yes.
So that's already happening, right?
Yes.
And so I'm like, no, that one lines up. That I feel good. I run better. I'm smoother. I'm mentally more clear.
Pants are fitting better. I assume.
Everything's just better.
I didn't check before the podcast.
Yeah. But everything's better then. So I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And so that was a big thing for me that I'm going to keep with.
So what you've done then, I'm just going to challenge for a second here. Let you grab some water. That's how I felt when I was done talking too. But I think what I'm hearing is you've evaluated what better actually means to you, and you've decided this is what's going to make me better as a human.
Yeah.
And it's not just better for the sake of being better.
Yeah.
It's not more money for the sake of more money. It's not more abs for the sake of more abs. It's I'm going to cut the weight because it's going to make me move better and feel better.
Yeah.
My goal is going to be more than last year, but it's not going to be shooting for the moon because I need to make room for fun because I realize I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
Not that you don't have fun doing what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
But you haven't made room for external fun.
I haven't been purposeful in being.
Yeah. Is that accurate? Okay.
Yeah, so there is not a tangible, measurable way of doing the fun thing.
Yeah.
But I did come up with a way, and this could come back to bite me if anybody listens to this, but
I love this.
Yeah.
I love it.
It is, I just decided that if I want to have fun, if I want to do things, this has to be a yes year, where I'm just like, let's do it.
We're going Jim Carrey, yes, man.
100% is let's do it. Let's figure out how we do this.
Have you seen that movie? Have you seen Jim Carrey's Yes Man? Yeah. Okay. Premise is exactly what you're saying. Someone asks you to do something, the answer is yes, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jim Carrey, he takes it to the nth degree. It's ridiculous and hilarious.
Yeah.
But, and the reason I interjected here is because what if, because this is the thought I've had before with this, is what if we legitimately had a year where we said no to anything, where we said yes to everything.
And it does come with a few things, obviously. You can't go against my values, can't go against my morals, can't go against my beliefs.
For sure. And that's, where Jim Carrey gets wild.
Yeah, so we do have some caveats in there. But as far as like more of the fun things to do, it is, okay, let's have at it. And so
I love that.
I think it's just going to be a unique year in that sense.
Yeah.
And I want to do fun things. I want to do things. And that's also where, okay, so if I want to do this, now that's going to motivate me because things cost money.
Yeah.
You can't say yes to things that you can't afford.
That's
so
correct.
Okay, so now I'm motivated to make money so I can say yes to different things.
Yeah.
So now actually that, just thinking about that.
I'm gonna go to the lake for a week because somebody asked me to come to the lake for a week. I need money to fund said lake trip.
Yeah. So now that gets me excited. Now I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I gotta say yes to things. So I gotta make money to be able to say yes to these things.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait for that conversation in the office. Jared, why are you working so hard? I have to say yes to this thing this coming weekend. Well, what are you saying yes to? I don't know yet, but I know I'm gonna have to say yes to it.
It's gonna be fun, right?
Yeah.
So that actually inspired me more to get out and go.
Yeah.
And so to go make money, to go do things, to get to work, right?
So let's break this out here because I love breaking things down.
Yeah.
So step number 1, and this is I think the most important, is you define what was better for you, what success looked like for you.
Yes.
And I honestly think that's why a lot of people, like in your office, for example, they've got these monetary goals, but because they don't have their own specific reason behind it, their own why attached to it.
No, probably most of them have their own reasons. I just couldn't figure out mine within that reason.
Oh,
right?
got you.
So like they do, I'm sure they do. I'm not like that. And a lot of people have their own reasons. And I've heard different things from, I want to leave it. I want my kids and my grandkids to be well off so they don't have to like do whatever they want to do. Okay, great. That's awesome. That's for you.
Yeah.
I want to do it so that I can afford to pay off my house in 2 years or whatever. Awesome. Do that for you. I want to do it so I can buy a new truck. Okay, great. Awesome. You got your reason, right? Like people have their reasons. I just couldn't figure out mine.
Gotcha.
And so it's not about, there's absolutely zero about anybody else or about their money, about what their goals are. This is just about me. I couldn't figure out why I was.
Gotcha. Okay, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
Want to make sure that's clear.
Have your office mad at you because it's something I said. Don't listen to me, guys. Okay, so switching gears because the path I was going to go down was a little bit different there. But I think the point I was driving at is super important, is you have to define why that goal matters, why that thing matters. Why does the money goal matter to you? Because you want to be able to have fun this year. Yeah. You want to be able to buy Isaiah Beater. You want to, right? You have these things. You have to attach something, right? Hey, Jared, you want to go and get abs in the gym, big muscles.
See, the gym thing lines up with that because if you're unhealthy, unable to do things, now you can't do it. You can't say yes to things because you're not able to get out there and go do things. Yeah. So if you want to be able to do things, you got to be healthy. You got to be able to have.
See, that's attached. That's attached. What I'm trying to articulate and clearly doing a poor job of is a lot of times people will make a goal sheet and be like, I want to get jacked in the gym. Right. Cool.
Why?
Because I want to do fun things and be fun and do creative things and do well at my job. Yeah. So therefore I need to be in shape because as a realtor, you pound the pavement. As someone that wants to have fun, I might be at the beach and I want to look. Like you have your whys attached to that, and I think that's a big mistake people make. They're like, I want to make $1 million this year. Cool. What for?
Yeah. And you notice I find here's going to be a little criticism.
Please.
There's a lot of people that set those goals, even if they get close, they're not very grateful because they don't know what they got it for.
Yeah,
there's that attitude of and I'm not trying to point at people, but you're not as grateful. No. But you're not as grateful for something that you really don't know why you got it.
It's true.
If you work hard, like if I'm working hard to have fun, I'm so grateful that I made that much money so I can have fun. Yeah. Now I'm grateful for that. Yeah. I'm so thankful because I was able to do that. Yeah. Versus I made all this money and my bank account has money.
I'm still a miserable prick by the end of the year.
This is not a slam at all about making money.
No. Jeremy and I may want to make a ridiculous amount of money.
Sure. But like that's not what it's about. But it comes with just having that purpose, right?
Yeah. So to that end, I did mine a little bit different this year too. And so I set big goals for the year. But what I did is let's back up here. Last year I set very specific goals. We talked about those. You can go back and listen to them if you want to. But I had my why, but I didn't break it down properly to attach to that why on a small enough scale.
Right.
So what I mean by that is this year I took my big goals and I actually broke them down quarterly, monthly, weekly.
Okay.
The weekly ones are more like check-ins. Like
right.
you did your check-in today on Sunday, right? That's what the weekly one is. It's more of a check-in.
You just checking in with yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
How are we doing? Whatever. Did we do our gratitudes? Because that's the thing I know about both of us. We've actually practiced gratitude. I believe it's a muscle. But the big one for me has been putting up quarterly goals.
Okay.
And use the gym as an example here. My goal by the end of the year is to put on 10 pounds of muscle. Right?
Yeah.
Quarterly, it's about 2.5 pounds of muscle. Okay? So my quarterly goal, so by the end of March, right? Yeah. By the end of March, I need to have 2.5 pounds of muscle on me. If I'm this is just me. People are wired differently. The way I'm wired, now that 2.5 is on the board, I have this sense of pressure inside that I'm like, I need to eat a certain way. I need to get to the gym at least 2-3 times a week, if not more. I have these inner drives now pushing me.
Right.
Because if I get to March and I'm not at 2.5 pounds up, muscle-wise, that means the following quarter I have to make up. I don't know, kind of the water story. If you try to get 5 gallons of water and you're only at 2 gallons by the end of the day, 3 gallons is a lot of water before bed.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about building muscle too, is if all of a sudden I don't do it in quarter one, now I'm going to make up 2.5 and do my next 2.5. 5 pounds of muscle in 3 months is, for this guy, probably impossible.
Yeah.
And I have a breakdown for each one of my goals in that quarter.
Right.
And it's been super helpful there's a time on the board. Like I've got that 3 minutes left on the board, 3 minutes left in gameplay kind of thing. And if I don't hustle, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
And so that mental shift has been super helpful for me. And something else, this is not practical at all, but I've had this sense, and you said something similar, like 25 just feels different. Like 2025 just feels different.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I can't explain it, but the energy in 2025 for me is just wildly different.
I had this random conversation with this person. Okay, so first off, just for clarity's sake, I don't condone or support any of this. It's not. It was just a random person, right? Well, not a random person, but somebody I was potentially going to see, and I learned a little bit about them, and we had a conversation, right? And she also halfway through whatever, also she's on a medium. I'm like, okay, I don't know.
You're like halfway between something? Or
like she's,
I know.
Like the spiritual realm, like she deals with the after the whatever. I don't know exactly what.
Too far.
Yeah, and so she's talking to me about how she's a medium and she can sense things and this and that. And I was like, all right, like that. I did not know that. And then even she was like, there's something different about this year. There's something different coming. And so many people have said it, and yet I don't know. Like and I absolutely believe it.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you off air, but there's other things that have happened that I'm like,
we're gonna have to talk because I got things too.
Yeah. The timing of this is just weird, right? Something just what's happening here. Even when I was writing out my goals. Yeah. And I was just writing, and also I looked at like, why did I write that?
Like the flow state.
Yeah, it was just and also I wrote something. I was like,
me too.
That's pretty intense. That's a pretty And then
but even a mentor of mine, he does a podcast. His energy, I was DMing with him on the weekend here, and I was just like, dude, your energy on that podcast, like 25 is something else.
But even there, I was writing. Also, I looked at the goals. I'm like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty bold prediction or goal, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't think anything of it. Also, a couple days later, something clicks that I'm like, and as soon as it happens, I get reminded of that goal, and I was like, what? We'll get to that, but on camera thing. But it's one of those things where it's, okay, this is...
Anybody that listens to this...
You'll know by the end of the year. Well, I'll say that. We'll refer back to that.
Anybody that listens to this and gets this far because we're 40 minutes deep. If you feel like 2025 is completely different, the energy is wild, let us know in the comments or DM us or something.
So like optimistically wild.
Yeah. No, like in a good way. That's what I mean. Yeah. Wild in a good way. I've never felt this before.
Yeah.
I've never felt this before, and I got so much stuff like not great going on, but I'm still in this mode of everything's going to be tremendous this year.
Yeah.
And I can't explain it.
Yeah.
I'm super fired up on that. So let's see. We got why is it better for you? That idea of what
does
it
line up with who you really are as a person.
What does success mean to you?
Yeah.
We got, maybe you should, this is from me, maybe you should break it down a little bit further.
Yeah.
Because those big goals of getting jacked in the gym or whatever might not necessarily resonate with where you're trying to get to.
Yeah, if you're not tracking, it's going to be very hard to get there, because how do you know?
What gets measured gets attention, and what gets attention changes.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the first two. I think the third one, and we're not done yet, but the third one I just want to point out is this muscle of gratitude. You got to practice gratitude. And so
every step of the way.
I don't know if I talked about this on the last episode as we went into 25, but I've started daily gratitude again.
Yeah.
Because, and sometimes I share it, sometimes I don't, publicly. But daily gratitude, just 3 things I'm grateful for. And they can be as dumb as a black cup of coffee or something personal, like I really like my wife's butt. Like, just, they don't have to be serious, big things. But just 3 things I'm grateful for.
Yeah. So number 4, I think.
Yeah. Here we go.
And I think this is why we waited for today to do it. Is because it was church this morning, and I go to Springs, and Pastor Zach the whole message was on trust the plan.
Ooh,
and he gave a bunch of examples, but the one that kind of stood out was Moses going to the Red Sea.
Yeah.
And he was commanded to raise his staff in his arm, and the sea would separate, right? Yeah. And they could walk across on dry land. Yeah. And when Moses went to the sea, did he know exactly what was going to happen?
Probably not.
Did he know he was told he was not commanded to do this?
Could you imagine that?
And he just goes there, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's just, he's probably pretty intense. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, minus all the things, mind you, all the things he saw already up to that point. But to also see that separate, and they could walk 1 million people across on dry land. Yeah. And that's pretty intense.
That is. My comedic brain goes, hey guys, this is exactly what I planned. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
See what I did? No. Yeah. But he didn't know what was going to happen. Yeah. But the plan was, this is what he was commanded to do. So he listened and he obeyed and he went. And then when it happened, like, the doors opened up and everything happened for a reason, right? And then he brought up one good point, is we always often think, wow, if I knew the future, I'd start now, right? Yeah. But he brought up the point is, half the time, you get stressed out by your day. Yeah. How on earth would you want to do what you're supposed to do in 5 years? Yeah. You can't handle your day, right? Yeah. And that was such a good point. I was like,
a great point.
Like, I get stressed out when I'm like, oh, I got this to do. What if I told you're supposed to be here by this time? I can't get there. I don't have any. Yeah. There's no way I'm going to get there.
I've heard it said before that God, 2 things: God doesn't give you more than you can handle, and 2, I've also heard it say that God's not going to give you more until you've proven yourself with what you've got now. Right. Thing. And I think it's that idea of, if God told you, hey, you're going to have this amount of money to contend with, you're going to have this business, these responsibilities at home, whatever, this property, whatever it is, but you're still over here, Jeremy, now, just trying to make things work in your current realm, you can't even think on what God's giving you in the future, right? Yeah. What God's going to bless you with and what he's going to do with you. And so I think in some ways, it's a saving grace of, I'm not letting you know the future because you couldn't handle it.
You can't handle it, right?
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
You can't. Your pastor is right. Like, our brains can barely handle today. Yeah. Never mind what's coming.
Yeah. And like I said, number 4 is trusting the plan. Is if you have an idea of direction, trust the plan that it's the right way, and take the action as though, even though you can't see far, you take the next step. You take the next step. And just trust that it's going to work.
Do you know what I pray a lot? I pray a lot that, hey, God, I don't know exactly where you want me. Don't know what I'm supposed to do. But I'm going to do this thing, this action, right? Yeah. And I pray that you would bless it. And also that if it's your will, it'd be the right direction. Yeah. That I would keep in that direction. Yeah. And it changes up. But that's the gist of what I pray a lot. Yeah. Because to me, this idea of sitting there doing nothing doesn't work. Yeah. Obviously, right? And so sitting and waiting doesn't work. And if I don't know the future and I don't know where I'm supposed to go, supposed to end up, supposed to work on, whatever, if I just start taking action and I pray into it with the heart of God, I want to end up where you want me to.
Yeah.
I believe, you can believe whatever you want, but I believe that God will put me in the shoes I need to be in the direction I need to be in if I just keep moving forward. And there's going to be bumps and there's going to be too many lefts and right turns, but eventually I'm going to get to where I need because I just kept moving forward.
Yeah, and that's just it, right? It is to keep moving, to keep taking those steps, to keep driving in and say, okay, look, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, just to keep moving, right?
Yes.
I think that's the biggest thing that we get hung up on, that, oh, what if, or oh, maybe I shouldn't, or maybe, well, if you're not in the place you're supposed to be, it's so much easier to get out if you're doing something.
Yeah.
Because then if you're just sitting there and not doing anything, it's harder. Like people who are working and need to switch careers, it's easier. It's almost easier to switch while you're working.
Yeah.
Than to be on unemployment and waiting, and then a year goes by and you're used to sitting down and not doing anything, and then all of a sudden now you want to start doing something. Well, employee, somebody you're hiring is going to look and be like, well, this guy's already doing stuff.
That's a big gap you got going on over there.
And just as an example,
we're not pushing anybody. To that end, though, because we were talking about the gospel here, something I want to share with everybody here is a new podcast I found.
Okay.
It's new found for me only because it literally just started in January here. It's called The Daily Blade, and it's a short men's ministry podcast.
Okay.
No more than 6 minutes, every single morning, Monday through Friday, and it's done by a guy named Kyle Thompson and Joby Martin. Kyle Thompson has Undaunted Life. It's a men's ministry. You can Google him, check him out. It's awesome. Joby Martin is a pastor friend of his. Joby Martin has a large church. If I'm butchering his name, don't hunt me down. But The Daily Blade.
Okay.
All the places you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, blah, blah, blah. Check it out. I've been listening to it every single morning since it came out.
Okay.
On my drive to work, it's the first thing I do. Obviously, my commute's an hour. 6 minutes doesn't really get me that far. But it's the first thing I listen to when I hit my drive. And it's scripture, encouragement, and an action.
Okay.
And that's the 6 minutes. Okay. And Kyle Thompson's been going through some Nehemiah stuff this past week. It's been really good. I encourage you to check it out if you want to sow some more of that into your life, just like we were talking about. Great resource. And for most of us, we don't have the attention span. So 6 minutes, get in, get out, get on with life.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll shoot you the link.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, I'll
really
check
good.
it out.
Really good.
Yeah.
So as we move on here, we talked last podcast as we went into 25, reflecting on how the year went. Today we're talking about goals. We're in 25. We're almost halfway through January. What if I've stumbled? What if I haven't started yet? What do you think we should do? And I've got a couple of points I want to touch on, but what do you think we should do here if that's us?
Just start now. Just, who cares? It's like we associate the new year with something.
Yeah.
Well, what if it's another day on the calendar?
Yeah.
So just choose maybe January 27th is your new day.
Yeah.
By January 27th next year, you're going to be different, right?
I've heard it said before, why not a random Tuesday?
Yeah, most people quit their goals by January 10th. And so they're already off of their goals.
Yeah.
So
the gym is empty again.
The gym's back to, right? So all those things, like most people just don't care enough. And then you're going to have your next fallout soon. And then you're going to have the people that are actually committed to keep going. If you stumble and you're like, oh, I did this. You don't have to wait till next year. You can start again and just keep going. And then you stumble, you fall, start again. It's that mentality of just be relentless until you get what you're going after.
Ooh, I think that's going to be the tagline of the podcast. Be relentless until you get what you're after. That should go on a shirt. Isaiah, clip this here for me. Reach out to Taz and get some merch made.
There you go.
I know.
Write that one down.
No, my brain just broke. Like I don't even know where I was going. To that point, for the last decade, I have said to my wife every year, hey baby, this year is going to be our year. And we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But nothing changes, so nothing changes. And so this last year, when we were talking about our goals for 2024, I said I refused to leave 24 the same man that I was as we roll into 25. Now, I did not accomplish my goals the way I wanted to.
Right.
I didn't end 24 the way I thought I was going to, or the way I wanted to. But I promise you, and you're a big part of this, I did not leave 24 the same man. I did not.
But that's also what you said, is you're not leaving the same. Okay, you accomplished that goal.
I 100% did. And I didn't make the money I wanted to. I didn't do the business stuff I wanted to. I didn't do the family stuff I wanted to. I didn't check all the boxes.
Yeah.
But man, was I a different human on the other side of it. And I continue to be... Self-awareness is, I think, a great way to put it. Like, I'm more self-aware at the way I talk to people, the way I talk to myself. And it just continues to amplify here as we roll into 25. The other thing I wanted to say, to your point, is choose your heart. We've all seen it online. We've all heard it probably. But I was having a conversation with my 10-year-old son this morning on what that means.
Yeah.
And they say, if you really want to know something, teach something. And so I had to articulate this in a way that my 10-year-old can understand. And
so you dropped his Lego?
Yes. No, we were outside shoveling.
Yeah.
And it was cold and miserable, and he didn't want to finish, and whatever. And part of that, we were talking about this fact that work ethic is a muscle.
Right.
Just like gratitude, I feel, is a muscle. Work ethic is a muscle. My son is big and strong. He can do work. His work ethic, though, muscle needs to be built.
Yeah.
Because, especially when it's minus 30, you want to sit on the couch and watch TV or play Nintendo. I think, regardless of age, when it's cold outside, it's how you feel.
Everybody wants. Yeah.
Some of us with the books, TV, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what we were doing. We had to shovel the driveway in. If he wanted to earn Nintendo, he had to help me shovel the driveway. That was our deal. Or the deal him and his mom made. Didn't do it before. And so we were just talking after we finished about this work ethic muscle. And I was trying to explain to him this choose your hard thing, right? Do you think it's easy to sit on the couch and play Nintendo all day? Well, yeah, Dad, of course I do. Great. What happens when XYZ happens? What happens when you're daddy's age and you don't have a job? And nobody wants to hire you because you haven't had a job. And now you have no money for Nintendo or house or anything. And it's minus 30, right? Like we went over this a few times. And the reason I bring that up is what you were talking about is you can come into 2025 January 1st going, January 1st I start, everything's going to change, my whole life is going to be different, blah, 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 but not have a great plan, and by January 10th, boop, like most people, you're out.
Yeah.
That's what you said, right? January 10th. Really, and then what happens is so many people, and I've been one of them, you get to the end of the year, and you're like, I coulda, shoulda, woulda done things differently. I wish life was different. I wish you're wishing things were different, but you're not doing to be different. And so your life is hard at the end of the year because you didn't do the hard things on the other side to make your life different.
Yeah.
And so choose your heart. Do you want to be the same person at the end of the year? Financially, physically, emotionally? I think emotions is a big one.
It is. Yeah. And just surround yourself with people who are going to be there to encourage you, to push you to be better, right?
Yes.
That's a big thing. I think that
what do you put in your brain?
Yeah. Who's influencing you? What are you doing with that? How are they influencing you? Are you going to a place of goodness? Are you going to a place where it's just mundane? Are you like, what are you doing? What are you getting fed? What are you doing?
And the rad thing is, this is something I want to bring up because you're doing it right now, and I think it's a great example of this. You want to lose weight, eat better, get healthier, but everyone around you is making fun of you, or they're not doing it, or whatever, or you think you'll get made fun of. Guess what? You can join an online group, have a Discord or a Zoom or a Loom or whatever the heck they're doing for check-ins, and you can hang out with a group of people. I know quite a few coaches online. That's the way they do it. They have a weekly call where the whole group can get together. So then you're not alone. You're with a bunch of other cool people moving in the same direction. And guess what? Just like any social group, some of those people you'll vibe with, some you won't.
Yeah.
But guess what? You're all moving in the same direction, doing the same thing, trying to do the same thing. And the reason I say that is because you did a Discord today, something new for you.
Yep.
With a bunch of people doing the same thing. And you can do that online now. You don't have to just like hope that there's people around you. Hope is not a strategy.
No, hope is definitely not a strategy you want to count on.
No.
It's good to have hope, but the hope without action is lacking there.
100%. It's just a wish.
Yeah.
And so I think that if you're wanting to make changes in your life, and we talk about physical just because it's an easy correlation to life.
Yeah.
But any area you want to make change, you could probably find an online group coach situation. Yeah, you pay the coach, but then you get around better people.
But you also want to invest in yourself.
Yes.
If it's free, you don't care as much. If you're spending $500 or $1,000, you're caring because you're going to follow it because you're like, that's a waste of money if you don't.
Yeah. Amanda and I were talking about that this weekend. I was giving her a hard time about something. She was giving me a hard time about something. And it was the whole idea of giving stuff away for free. And I was just like, exactly that. I was like, you invest in yourself. And she was just making the argument that sometimes people are worth investing in.
Sure.
But they don't necessarily have, and they want to make that investment, but they don't have the funds to make that investment. And so I was like, cool, that's
I get that.
true. But I think you're right, though. You need to invest in yourself. And for me, it's as simple as I pay $20 a month for my fitness app that I use.
Yeah.
And I go to the gym, and I get to use that app, and it logs all my stuff and whatever. And it's like my little coach.
Yep.
It's not as good as what you're doing, but it's a fraction of the cost.
Yeah. Well, it's the investment. You're still putting money into it. You're still.
Yep.
It's still
and
costing.
this past week and a half, like I was talking about at the beginning of the podcast, felt dumb paying for it. But because I wasn't using it as much. But yeah, that's exactly right. You feel dumb for not using it, so you want to use it. And I'm excited to use it because it's got some new good stuff coming into the new year.
Yeah.
But on that note, we're wrapping up.
Yep.
I think that the number one thing I want to leave people with, we're not even going to break down 3 things or whatever like we normally do. Number one thing, and you said it. Why are your goals? Why are your goals? Don't make them someone else's. Make sure that your definition of success is your definition of success. Make sure it aligns with your values, your goals, nobody else's. Because as soon as you try and attach a number or a number one goal to someone else's reasons, they're not going to work out for you.
Yeah, it won't matter as much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
If it's yours, you're owning it, you're going to run with it, you're going to do what you can.
Yeah.
Just
I heard, and for those of you that have kids, because I've heard it said before, and I want to end with this, is don't use your kids as an excuse, use them as the reason. Use them as the reason, because I know so many parents out there go, I can't XYZ because of my kids. I don't have the time because of my kids. Whatever, right? Don't use them as an excuse, use them as the reason.
Yeah.
Use them as the reason that you figure out what your goals are this year and why they're your goals. And maybe your kids are the reason your goals are what they are.
Absolutely.
Mine are part of that.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
Right on, guys.
Sounds good.
Reach out. We love you. See you next time.